The death toll from the coronavirus in China has reached 490, with the number of confirmed patients topping 24,000. According to Chinese state media CCTV on Wednesday, there were more than 3,000 newly confirmed cases and 65 deaths in Hubei province on Tuesday. In South Korea, 2 more patients were confirmed this morning, bringing the total number of confirmed patients here to 18. Meanwhile, South Korean health authorities are scrambling to figure out the movements of the country's 16th patient who returned from a trip to Thailand about 2 weeks ago. Kan Hyung-woo reports.
The Korea Centers for Disease Control and Prevention confirmed a 16th coronavirus case in South Korea on Tuesday. The patient is a 42-year-old Korean woman who returned to the country on January 19th from a trip to Thailand. The patient is known to have visited Bangkok and Pattaya during her trip to the Southeast Asian country. Although she showed no symptoms upon her arrival in South Korea, the patient later began to feel fever-like chills on January 25th. On February 4th, she tested positive for the coronavirus at the Jeonnam National University Hospital in Gwangju, where she remains in quarantine. Health authorities are trying to figure out how she was exposed to the virus, where she went, and who she has been in contact with.
Hey guys, welcome to Healthcare Sucks. Coming at you with some more China viral epidemic news. Like that? Something new. Anyway, I want to come at you with something about the WHO not still calling it a pandemic. I put forth to you, after what I found out about their connection to One World Order and World Bank, putting out that they will give funds out now to countries, but more or less holding a deed. They want to get paid back and all this other money. Once they call it a pandemic, I believe from my research I've looked into, it opens up a whole different kind of funding and all this other stuff. And partially that's what they've been holding back, I believe, is that once it's pandemic, then it goes into this other gear and things get the ratification. People get the help they should be getting right now. So right now they're holding back because they're trying to get countries, I believe, to sign on to get money from One World Bank up front and owe monies. Yeah, One World Bank, WHO, One World Order, Virus Agenda 21. These things are for real, guys. If you don't believe them, go check them out yourself. Look up Agenda 21 itself. You'll be amazed. And with that, we'll look at a little bit more what's going on, and then I'll try to hit you up with some more stuff that's hard to find like I did the other night.
We're disclosing the movements of the confirmed patients to let the citizens know whether they could have been exposed to the virus, so they can watch their status more closely and quickly take the necessary steps if any symptoms are found.
The Korea Centers for Disease Control and Prevention said the first 15 patients with the virus are all in a stable condition. In fact, one of them, a 55-year-old Korean man, has been treated for pneumonia and could be released as early as this week. The health authorities have run infection tests on 607 people with symptoms. 462 of those tests have come out negative, and those people have been released from quarantine. The Korean government is also closely watching 1,318 people who have been in contact with the confirmed patients. Kanyo, Arirang News.
The World Health Organization says the outbreak that has infected tens of thousands of people worldwide does not constitute a pandemic. A WHO official added that face masks alone are not enough to protect against the coronavirus, and instead recommend that everyone wash their hands thoroughly and properly. Lee Seung-jae with the details.
We just talked about this, guys. And face masks don't do nothing. Nothing. Not a thing. You know what? Yes, wash your hands, guys. Soap and hot water, preferably. And if you really feel you're in a danger zone like those kind of over there, You wear goggles the whole 9 yards, the whole thing. And let me put something else to you. You see those doctors running around? The ones that are serious about what's going on, they got the full suit, guys. The full meal deal. That's what you really need if you're going to be around somebody that's full blown. So this other thing about wearing the mask or wearing this or wearing that, when somebody's fully blown, it's already transferring. You're going to you're probably going to get it. Just bottom line, you're probably going to get it. So if you've been in contact with somebody like that and you don't, you have the armor and the shield of the Lord. The Lord's the only one that's going to protect you from getting that if you've been around somebody one-on-one. Period. Otherwise, you wear the full meal deal suit. And like I just told you, here we go. They won't call it a pandemic. No, let's not. Let's not tell the truth yet. Down the road, mark my words, and if I'm wrong, I'll be the first one to admit it. This thing is heading that direction.
Speaking at a news conference in Geneva on Tuesday, the director of Global Infectious Hazard Preparedness at the World Health Organization, Sylvie Briand, said the coronavirus outbreak, which has killed hundreds and left tens of thousands of people sick worldwide, does not constitute a pandemic. Instead, she says the outbreak is an epidemic with multiple foci.
Currently, we are not in a pandemic. We are at the phase where it's an epidemic with multiple foci, and we will try to extinguish the transmission in each of these foci.
Addressing rumors surrounding the coronavirus, Briand says there's no evidence the virus was mutating.
No, I think maybe I know that there have been also some information saying that the virus while spreading is changing and mutating and so on. But so far we have no evidence of that. It's still quite a stable virus.
According to Briand, it's important for those.
Do you believe that old hag? Yeah, old hag. Lying old hag. Yeah, I'm going to say it. Lying old hag. I don't. If you do, I have to laugh because there's no way. She's a paid mouthpiece. Just like the insurance companies, when they don't want to pay for certain meds that work for you or certain good things, and they put it on the not pay list, that doctor gets paid. He says, whatever, I'll sign anything. She will say anything. They're already so close to just spitting it out of their mouth and saying pandemic. It's almost like biting your tongue, and then it swells up. Well, she's already bit her tongue. It's almost off with the lie. And they need to stop lying and let everybody know that it is. And as far as mutating, we've had several hierarchy doctors from other fields and other places say this thing is changed. And it is changed. It's already changed from animal to human. And it's airborne. I mean, boom. And I believe it's going to change more. This thing is, I'm going to call it what it is. Genetically engineered bioweapon. Yes. At a later time, not tonight because I've been busy, we're going to show you some video games and some movies that, yes, they basically pre-programming telling us this crap was coming, and it's here. It's knocking at the door. So we'll listen to a couple more minutes of this, and I'll let you go for now.
With the coronavirus to wear a face mask in order to stop human-to-human transmission. But for people who have no symptoms, a mask itself will not necessarily protect them. Instead, she said there are other measures that need to be followed, such as frequent hand washing. The WHO has been closely working with global experts, governments, and other partners to rapidly expand its scientific knowledge on the novel coronavirus. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
And did you hear that? To expand their knowledge. I think these guys already know. Come on. just us YouTubers that are keeping track of this and going out there and showing the films and keeping track in the interviews, we already are breaking the truth and kind of know. They definitely know. So with that, we'll see what's popping up next. I haven't watched this, and if it's blah blah, we'll cut. If it's something decent, we'll watch it.
Prime Minister Jong Suk-yoon says South Korea will thoroughly study the coronavirus situation in not only Hubei province, but also the surrounding regions. Government and Blue House officials and ruling party lawmakers discussed the domestic status of the virus this morning at the National Assembly. The Prime Minister said they could...
Does that remind you of any movie or any kind of video game? Instead of black, though, Yellow Jackets. Umbrella? Yeah, Umbrella.
Review additional testing, not only for Chinese, but for foreigners from other countries. South Korea has already imposed an entry ban on foreigners who have visited Hubei province in the past fortnight. But Jong also hinted that it could later apply to visitors who travel from other regions. This comes as patients in South Korea who recently visited Thailand and Japan have tested positive for the virus. New test kits for detecting the new coronavirus have been approved here in South Korea, which is expected to speed up the diagnosis process. They will be supplied to local private hospitals starting this Friday. Kim Hyo-sun reports.
A batch of reagent test kits for the new coronavirus has been approved by the South Korean Ministry of Food and Drug Safety, shortening the detection time and recognizing suspected cases. The new kits, which have been temporarily approved out of concerns about the continued spread of the virus, identifies the virus by amplifying two specific genes. Compared to the two-stage conventional test kits, the newly developed ones only require single-step testing. Moreover, the new kits can speed up the process by reducing the time for detection to just 6 hours from 24 to 48 hours.
The new test kits have been co-assessed by the Korea Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and Korea Society for Laboratory Medicine objectively and scientifically, and thus are reliable.
And he says that they tested them and whatever. Maybe this is good, guys. Hey, quicker, and if you can hammer out who's got it, better. We got a better chance of controlling this plague. Yeah, plague.
The new test kits will be available for use by private hospitals starting Friday. They will be first supplied to 50 hospitals and clinics that have been approved by the KCDC.
We expect to enhance the capacity to monitor confirmed patients on a local level by distributing the new test kits to private hospitals.
The new kits are expected to help contain the virus going forward while reducing unnecessary quarantine for people suspected of having the coronavirus. Kim Hyo-sun, Arirang News.
Now, in a big step, the country's largest automaker, Hyundai Motor, is gradually suspending its assembly lines across South Korea. The company says it has to, as there are disruptions in supply from China, where many auto-related factories are shuttered due to the coronavirus outbreak. The South Korean automaker has become the first major global car maker to take such a drastic step. Kim Da-mi reports.
Here we go. I was talking about this the other night, guys. You can't get the parts. You can't make things. You can't fix things. TVs, computers. I mean, we rely so much now. See, that's the one thing about China. That's what we get. Not us, you and I. But that's what these cheap bastards, excuse my French, get by going over there and taking labor and happen to make these big markups on things and making millions and billions of dollars. You know what? Could this be a little payback to the ultimate rich and evil people that have been screwing us for so long? Will their millions and billions, the billionaires, the Amazonians, etc., Microsofties, all these people, they might see their money's going down. Wouldn't that be a damn shame? You know what? It would. And another thing, this will teach us to buy America. I'd pay another $1 for things I'm paying $1. I'll pay $2. I'm sure you would too. To have it made here, know it's what it's about, put money in America, keep America strong, keep us safe. Now, once they kick back up, we don't know what the hell's on all this crap and if it's transferable beyond the 5. They've already said 5 days. Who knows? Yeah, who knows? We'll watch this, but I'm telling you, this is just the beginning. And pretty soon, those numbers like the deficit of the United States, billions and billions and heading to trillions are going to be lost. I would not doubt, mark my word, by the time this thing is over, if it continues this direction, that it will be a bigger loss than the USA deficit. I guarantee you, guys. Mark my word, we'll find if it goes that way.
One of South Korea's largest car makers, Hyundai Motor, will shut down all local production lines by Friday. Hyundai Motor announced on Tuesday that it plans to gradually suspend operations at all local factories. One of the Genesis sedan production lines in Ulsan City has been temporarily suspended as of Tuesday afternoon. Hyundai's production line for small trucks has also stopped. The closure is expected to last until Monday or Tuesday next week. Tuesday's move comes as Chinese companies have halted the supply of wiring harnesses, a key component for Korean car makers. Most factories in China have extended their Lunar New Year holiday until the 9th of February due to the coronavirus. Some wiring harnesses are made in South Korea, but Korean automakers are heavily dependent on those made in China. While pledging to minimize damage by securing parts from other suppliers, Hyundai Motor will pay 70% of regular wages to its workers during this shutdown period. 김다미, 아리랑 뉴스.
Now, as concerns grow over the spread of the coronavirus
So what they're saying is what we've already talked about. They can't get the wiring harnesses, can't do things. Hey, if you're thinking of buying a Hyundai, hold out just a little bit longer because they're going to be blowing those cars out, man. I guarantee you. With whatever's off now, go in there and say lowball them. They're going to be having some killer deals here pretty quick because they're hurting. Whenever that assembly line is not rolling out cars, their dollars, the biggies, the million billionaires, etc., their money's going, and they can't have that. I mean, if you're making $100 million a day or $1 billion a week, you can't have your money going, no. We have to keep on making and trucking those wheelbarrow freight trains full of bucks. I mean, how much money is $1 billion, guys? We'll see what this guy has to say.
In and outside of South Korea, it's only natural that many questions are running through our heads about the virus. Will it spread quickly? Will it peter out? How deadly is it? Etc., etc. Since there is a lot of misinformation out there, our Kim Bo-young sat down with an expert to find out some important facts about the coronavirus.
Facts 101. We'll see if they're factual.
Many people still have lots of questions about the novel coronavirus. One of the questions is whether there is a specific age group that is more likely to be infected. In a recent study of 99 patients with the coronavirus in Wuhan, China, the number of patients infected was evenly distributed, meaning that there isn't any particular age group that is more prone to catching the virus. Half of the patients had chronic medical conditions. One expert says the key factor is what activities you do.
That's already counteracting what we've been told. We've been told that children and the very ill are old, ill, people with chronic illnesses, etc. too. That just shot it down. So here's another one. They're saying it's pretty well spread.
Usually active people are much more likely to be infected because they could be exposed to the environment with virus, but elderly people or infants who are infected are more likely to get worse or die.
Right now, the death rate for this strain of coronavirus is much lower than previous coronavirus-based diseases. Yet an expert says the death rate could reach 20% as there are many patients in a serious condition. The total number of patients has already surpassed the other types of coronavirus.
20%, guys. You haven't heard that number anywhere because we're at this 2% crap they're throwing out. Here's the other one, SARS. 8004. This thing's already a monster. Look over here. MERS. Look at that. That was a monster too, guys. From camel spit. This one's from cats, supposedly. And this one is genetically engineered bioweapon. Don't kid yourself.
And the number of new infections caused by each patient is in between SARS and MERS. The expert says this outbreak might last more than 8 months.
The virus might continue spreading for at least 8 or 9 months, but it could be possible that the period will be shorter as the infrastructure and the quality of preventive measures are much better than at time of SARS. It is important to diagnose patients with the virus and quarantine them.
The expert adds that this virus is not an airborne infection, rather a droplet infection. The difference between these are the size of the particles that come out of one's mouth.
Okay, that was kind of a distinction there. Airborne and droplet. How fine is spit or a mist before it becomes airborne? I mean, personally, I've heard back and forth over this on several different fields. Misty, spitty kind of crap can go quite a ways. Then if it's in a wind, that makes it airborne. So let's say if you cough on one side of the street and it's a massive spitty one, love that one. That's an original. Healthcare Sucks. I'm patenting that. A spitty one. That's me. Spitty one. You can all copy it though. And the wind catches it across the street, man. Okay. And depending on the cars going and, you know, let's do some mathematics here. A spitty one on this side of the street your spitty ones, if it's coming from deep in your lung, can be quite fast. So let's go quite fast. Then we got cars. Let's say it's a windy day. 20 mile an hour wind even. Let's pick it up. I guarantee you it can bounce over there, man. Bounce. Or bounce. Boom. Or like the commercial in the end of one of my videos the other night where the guy coughs, takes his mask off, spits in the water, and the bus drives by and hits the water and it splashes all the people. What the hell's the difference between that and a spitty one? Yeah, spitty one.
As the novel coronavirus particles are relatively large, people more than 2 meters away are generally safe. He says that although patients without symptoms can spread the virus, those with severe symptoms spread the virus much more.
Those people without symptoms or with just mild symptoms are not the ones that spread the virus much. The contagiousness depends on the amount of the virus that a patient gives out. So patients with mild symptoms shouldn't be a priority for quarantine.
The expert says people should avoid contact with contagious people by avoiding crowds, wearing masks, and washing your hands frequently. 김보경, 아리랑 뉴스.
And avoid those people with spitty ones, damn it. I mean it.
Okay, let's start our international news segment.
We don't want to hear about that, guys. Do we really? I'll give you the lowdown real quick. Because I watched the presidential speech tonight. And it was pretty awesome. He really didn't go for the other side and stab him too much. There was a little slap down as he went up because Nancy Pelosi's been treating him so terrible. She tried to reach her hand out and give him a shake. And he just said, no shake. Turned away. Total snub right off the bat. Yeah, that was wild, man. You have to watch that part. As far as that, the rest of the speech was kind of what's going on, what's been going on. There was some really cool parts. The military family hadn't seen his. She hadn't seen her husband, and he showed up. There was some really cool, heartbreaking, stuff. If you like Rush, he got the Medal of American Honor kind of thing. So there's kind of the thing, there was some clapping and some booing back and forth, but that's how that stuff always goes. Now on the other party, the Blues, they are, I'm telling you right now, I'm going to tell you how it is. First of all, I think Bernie would have won back when, during the Clinton Boohoo Fest. I think he would have won that if they wouldn't have pushed him out and screwed him, bottom line. So Bernie come out last night, from what I seen, and said, here's the results. And they had some kind of mishap in the results. You tell me, no way, this thing is fixed. I told you I didn't want to have to tell you guys. It's fixed. So what do? They take Buttigieg, and they boost him up above Bernie now because they think that's going to be their winning dog. Major mistake, man. If they don't go with somebody besides Bernie, they can kiss it goodbye. So that party will have nothing to... See, I'm trying to be neutral here, on this whole thing. But if they screw Bernie, they're screwing themselves, because this Buttigieg, there's not a way in hell that guy's going to beat Trump. So with that, remember, politics suck! And you know what? So does healthcare. So to my watchers, I hope you're staying healthy. Wash up. Don't forget to get food and water and put up some supplies, because that virus is coming near you. I don't care what they're saying right now. Again, if I'm wrong, I'll eat my shorts. And with that, healthcare sucks! Till next time, my friends.